What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and today we are going to be breaking down and digging a little bit deeper into the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare poster that was leaked by the Canadian retailer yesterday. So you guys remember this image right here. I put up a video about it. It was a super big deal because it was our first kind of like confirmation of what the Call of Duty 4 remaster was going to include. You guys can see it says that it's got campaign, the 10 multiplayer maps. It also gave us prices. Everybody was freaking out about it. It was really cool. In this video, what I want to focus on is the left side of the poster, the game art side. Like this is stuff taken directly from the game. I'm not sure if this is going to be the actual kind of like, cover art for the box of the game, but this is game art here, and it gives us some information that some people aren't really looking into. And right now, I feel like the general kind of like cool thing to do and kind of like the bandwagon thing to do for this community is to hate on Infinite Warfare simply because it's going to space. And a lot of people, they're going to go with the wave of everybody else and just say, oh, this is going to suck. I'm not going to play the game. I'm only buying it for Call of Duty 4 Remastered, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's kind of dumb. I was tweeting about this yesterday. Like, I think until we see gameplay, that's kind of unfair to do. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are just assuming that because this game is in space, that means we're going to have Exo Suits like Advanced Warfare. We're going to have, crazy anti-gravity jumping 50 feet in the air, laser weapons, spaceship fighting. It's not going to be anything like what Call of Duty is. And that's not the case at all. Infinity Ward could literally put old school Call of Duty 4 boots in the ground movement in space if they wanted to. It has nothing to do with the setting of the game. It's all about the game mechanics. And I think there are a few hints in this cover art that kind of tell us what we can expect. So starting off here, let's start with the background. Obviously, it's kind of blurred out. You can't really see much. The biggest thing you see in the background is the giant spaceship that's behind this character. Of course, that's a spaceship. Of course, it's only going to be in campaign. We aren't going to have huge spaceships like that in multiplayer. We might be fighting on a spaceship, but it's not going to be like crazy, in space, spaceship against spaceship combat. That's not what Call of Duty is. We'd never have that. Down in the bottom right, this is kind of interesting to me. I can't quite tell what's going on. I wish it was a little bit clearer. You know what I mean? It's kind of fuzzy, kind of blurred out. But it looks to me like some sort of, again, like a spaceship or a space station or something up in space. You can see like the little white dots all around it, which are stars. I'm not sure what those big glowing orbs are. Maybe those are some sort of, space explosion or something like that. I'm not sure. So that, further solidifies that, yes, we are going to be up in space sometimes. But then down the bottom left, if you guys look there is a cityscape. So I'm not sure if that's Earth. That could be some sort of, city on a different planet. But the important thing to take away here is, yes, there's still going to be like, on the ground urban fighting. Like, it's not just going to be up in spaceships and on different planets and barren landscapes and stuff like that. We're also going to have cities and stuff we're going to be fighting in, which is good. That's typical Call of Duty. I feel like urban combat is a very big thing for Call of Duty. Now, moving on to the foreground, obviously this is the focus of the image. You can see a lot more here. We've got this soldier. He's probably the protagonist of the story. Oftentimes the main hero is put on the cover of the games. One thing I found really interesting is look at how streamlined he is. Like, he's super thin, super just like trimmed down. There's no like bulkiness to him. There's no excess, which is interesting because here on Earth right now, soldiers are pretty bulky. Astronauts that go up into space are pretty bulky. They've got those big spacesuits and stuff like that. This guy is a mix of both of those worlds, yet he's super thin and streamlined, which is kind of cool. Obviously, that's, with the advancement of technology. And then also, even more importantly, is I see nothing on his body that alludes to an exosuit. There's no sort of exosuit or jetpack looking thing or something like that. Obviously, there could be a tiny jetpack on his back, so maybe we'll get some sort of like Black Ops 3 movement, but I don't think we're gonna have anything close to Advanced Warfare, which is what a lot of people have assuming that we're gonna have because it's gonna be based in space. I don't think it's gonna be that case at all. I think at the most it could be like Black Ops 3, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I know a lot of people want strictly boots in the ground, but I feel for the most part, Black Ops 3 was a fantastic game, and the community liked it, almost across the board. So, if we had Black Ops 3 moving again, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. And it could even be tied in with like anti-gravity. You know, maybe we could be fighting on a map where it's kind of like a space station on a other planet, and you can run outside and then you kind of have some extra movement, but then you go back inside and you're back on normal movement. I don't know. It'll be kind of interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I see nothing that, you know, hints towards advanced, super advanced movement like Advanced Warfare. Next up, in his left hand, you guys can see he has some sort of spacesuit helmet. You know, very obviously a spacesuit helmet. He's got like the kind of like line that goes from his back into the side of the helmet. That's his oxygen line, so he can breathe and stuff. So we will be dealing in atmospheres that don't have oxygen. And then in his right hand and on his right leg, you guys can see he's got what looks to be kind of like a traditional assault rifle as well as a traditional pistol. So this is another thing. Like, a lot of people are saying it's going to turn into Destiny. We're going to have all kinds of crazy stuff. We're going to have like laser beam rifles and just crazy stuff that doesn't make sense for Call of Duty. Both of these weapons right here shoot bullets. At least I'm assuming that. Like, they look like they shoot bullets. They don't look like anything that we haven't seen before. In fact, that assault rifle to me looks kind of like an M4. So again, this is another thing. A lot of people were worried about the super advanced movement. I'm not really seeing it on this character. A lot of people were worried about, you know, crazy weapons and spaceships and stuff like that. We're not seeing that here. We're seeing kind of like traditional Call of Duty. So I don't know. I think that, you know, this cover art says a lot, and I hope you guys, you know, kind of, you know, enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys see where I'm coming from, where just because we're going to be based in space and fighting in space doesn't mean everything else has to be in that super advanced space sci-fi area. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I found it kind of interesting. I'm worried about Call of Duty getting too crazy this year, just like the community is, but I'm not trying to get upset and get angry and you know, kind of like jump to conclusions before we actually see gameplay. And so far from this image, which is pretty much the only game image we have yet, it's looking like it's going to be decent. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to catch you guys later. Make sure you guys check out these if you haven't seen yet. Peace out.